Hi, it's Karen Tax here with the New Universe of Business podcast. Today I'm talking about being specific with fast goals. And in my last podcast, I talked about the A for ambition part of fast goals. Now we need to balance that ambition with the specifics of what can and actually needs to be achieved. So there's two distinct ways of thinking about being specific that need to be understood, and most people are only looking at one. So I'm going to do a quick review of the frequent conversations and ambition using the I Am Way compass to show these two ways of being specific while also building on the frequent conversations and ambition parts that I previously covered. So in review, goals should shape conversations about getting work done, and FAST is a goal framework. So as we move into the I Am compass, we can see that frequent conversations are influenced by the perspective of culture, and beliefs and thinking must shift from mechanistic to organic conversations to be effective. With mechanistic thinking, an organization, where'd my cursor go? Mechanistic thinking has separate parts with inputs and outputs. So think of supply chain management. And this works fine until you want to grow and execute in a system-wide strategy. So this is when you're thinking of people as cogs in a machine of production, not an integral part of a whole. And when you try to push strategy forward, like to make that machine grow, it feels like you're never doing enough or never quite getting there. But it's like pressure builds, and some parts of the system might even resist this growth because they're trying to maintain the system. So what this looks like often is overload and weird power dynamics and confusion. So with organic thinking, I'll find my cursor again here, an organization is a complex web of connected parts with many inputs and many outputs. There's many beneficiaries within this system, many value types. It can often be self-organizing, self-healing, and even anti-fragile. And so for examples of what this mechanistic versus organic way of thinking looks like, go back to my Frequent Conversations video podcast. So culture here in the North impacts the kinds of conversations you have, and therefore your ability to execute your growth strategy. And it's in the North part of the I Am compass and is a part of leadership. Ambition is at the center of the I Am compass and is needed to create a gap between your current situation and a goal or a vision that you have, and you need creativity and innovation to achieve these goals. So remember that if you're hanging out in survival motivation, then win-lose competitive power over behavior is going to dominate, which is fine for operational excellence, but like squeezes out efforts to expand into strategy execution. We need higher motives of meaning and purpose and creativity to break through the limits of survival motivation and move into higher motives that lead to win-win collaborative and power with dynamics. And these higher motives are what it's like it relieves pressure from this squeeze of survival and lets you expand into something new. So now we can talk about these two really different ways to be specific, and they're on these two sides of the I am compass. So first, there needs to be this gap between your current situation and that goal and vision. And over here, the specific looks like a strategic objective that describes what closing that gap might look like. And second, you need over here in the integration area of the compass, you need concrete measures of progress so that there's both purpose over in vision and progress over in integration for fast goal success to happen. So one of these is in the zone of unknown, and one of them is the zone of control, as I have been describing in previous podcasts. So OKRs, or objectives and key results, are how most people define the specifics in the S in fast goals. But too often, OKRs are thought of in tactical or mechanistic and survival ways, which is why most people fail to implement them effectively. And there's many technical resources out there for OKRs, and culture is my wheelhouse. And culture is how we think, and it impacts everything that we do, all of our behavior. So OKRs don't just happen without a change in thinking, and a goal framework like fast goals is not a source of culture change. So leaders up here must understand the mindset shifts that are needed and model and teach these and learn with your people as you're going, right? So a strategic objective over here in vision provides focus and describes where you want to go in the future via understandable expectations. So you could think of this as a point on a map, a destination like, say, Adelaide, Australia. You'll see why I mentioned that soon. So a strategic objective provides inspiration that is ambitious in scope and clear direction to head in, and enough information for employees to align with and prioritize their work with, and outcomes. So big picture people create these kinds of strategic details, and all people in your organization need to be able to connect with and focus and align their individual work with strategic objectives. So an example of a strategic objective is the tax family watches the World Solar Challenge in Australia in the fall of 2019. Yes, we're doing this. And with this strategic objective, we know a lot about what we want, but the details of how we're going to get there and what the final objective is actually going to look like is unknown, in this zone of the unknown. So imagine trying to accomplish this strategic objective coming from survival motives. Like, it's not going to happen, not likely. So when we shift to organic thinking and the higher motives of meaning and purpose and creativity, now we have the wind beneath your wings to fuel your strategic objectives. So key results, or sometimes they're called key performance indicators, right? KPIs. These answer the question, how will you know you're getting closer to your objective? Remember, objective is over here, the key result is over here. So the KR will show you how you're progressing and what specific tasks you're doing to implement your objective, which is an integration. This is over here in this part of the I am compass of all, there's an integration of all of your leadership, vision, and community efforts. And you can think of them as KRs, as signposts with a distance marker. So they must be high impact, comprising of clear tasks. They must be measurable and lead to learning, right? Clearly a part of a whole, which is your strategic objective, right? So detailed-oriented people link key result activities and project plans to outcomes, objectives that matter most to everyone in your company, customers, and stakeholders. An example key result is to save $10,000 by the summer of 2019 for the Australia trip, right? This is a real thing. So over here, we're, with this example, we're now in the zone of control where our key result is SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So clarity on how work contributes to the success of an organization as a whole is key to employee engagement. And quantitative metrics that we have over here with key results and milestones with specific steps required to achieve outcomes and measure progress, right? Only quantitative measures is not optimal because it keeps you in this zone of control. But then qualitative experiences are a whole different thing, right? Specific and ambitious strategic objectives increases an average team or individual to the 80th percentile of performance. So here we're in a territory of quality, not quantity. And then adding metrics with frequent feedback in our conversations increases results even more into the 88th percentile of performance. So learning from key results drives whole system strategy execution when you're willing to enter this zone of the unknown and have meaning and purpose and creativity be a part of your work. So your deep personal desires are the fuel of meaning and purpose and creativity. And that's why I keep asking this question, what do you want more of? Because like with specifics, what outcomes in your work, in your life, light you up, turn you on, put some kind of fire in your belly, right? So the World Solar Challenge is what's doing that for me personally. So I also keep asking the question, what are you willing to let go of? Because change always requires shedding of some kind of limited thinking so that you can expand into more of who you are. And not have that be sacrificing something that's precious to your soul, but maybe it's an idea like letting go of the idea that meaning and purpose and creativity are impractical and self-indulgent because they indeed are what's needed to execute on strategy. So I'm really curious about what questions you have. Any comments, please put those in the area below. And in the next video podcast, I'm going to go into transparent, that part of FAST goals, to see how to open access to information that's critical to FAST goals success.